the Positively Petland Show on 800 KXIC, Iowa City's news and sports station. And in studio, as always, every Sunday morning, we have Ron Solsrud, co-owner of Petland in Iowa City. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning.
You were just on vacation. Where did you go once again?
It was an hour north of the Wisconsin Dells. Beautiful country. That whole area is so beautiful, bluffy and all that kind of stuff. And we were lucky enough. I'm lucky enough to have a sister and brother-in-law that bought a house on the lake. And as my wife likes to say, you like to go and use other people's stuff.
No,
and I don't have any problem doing that.
That's just smart. That's just smartness right there by having people that still like you enough to let you.
Yes, you got to have that component. So you got to really milk it that way. But it was a really fun time. It was one of those family get-togethers for the summer. And so mom, dad were there, and my other brothers and sisters were
What's it like being likable, Ron?
Are you in the victim stage again? It's wonderful. You need to jump on the other side.
I used to be likable. Anyway, moving along. The Positively Petland Show, Eastside Iowa City. If you're not familiar with where Petland is, right next to the Iowa City Marketplace, across from Lucky's. They've been there for 11 years. They are servicing all of your pet needs. And so you have a pug?
I have 3 pugs, which if you are somebody searching for pugs, you know that you just don't see them anymore.
I thought you meant you had 3 in the small crate over here.
No, I have 2 in there. Yeah, but they're all so small, and they would love to have a 3rd one in there because they're just all cuddly in there right now. So yeah, we're going to review the pug. Then we're going to go into the flea and tick side of things. Hey, are you one of those people that, we don't ever have problems and all that kind of a thing? I'm going to tell you a little bit of how fleas grow. We're right now in a dormant phase. With this hot weather, you would think, oh yeah, they'd be going teeming, and hey, I don't get them now, so I don't need to treat for them. They're not in my area would be maybe a folklore that you're believing in.
Did you say they're going teeming?
They're, I think, dormant. I think I said dormant.
Oh, I thought you said that they would. Oh, they would be teeming.
They will be teeming.
That's what you meant.
They'll be coming out of their dormancy here in another month or less, and we'll talk about how you even can monitor that and make sure you're prepared, because how much rain have we been getting all season long? Mm-hmm. It is setting up to be the worst flea season. Ticks are all over the place.
Yeah.
And so you want to be prepared for that. And then finally, we're going to hit ScrubbyPet. This is it's an invention. I have, I know some people that actually like me too, that are inventors, and I feed them ideas, and then they invent it and they make it so that it will work and all that kind of stuff. So I'm the idea person, but I can't get to beyond that. Well, in this case,
you think that they like you.
It's all a myth in my head.
I want some of these fictitious people in studio so I can interview them.
You know what?
On why.
I will. Steve he'll go on air. He just probably will be phoned in or whatever.
Yeah, bring him in, or we'll have him dial us up and we'll get him in.
Yeah, and Steve is one of those guys where is Steve? It's like, where is Waldo? I think he has a house somewhere down way south of Mexico in the jungle land kind of a thing. That's his vacation spot.
Do you use his free stuff too?
I am trying to. So when we get him on the air, we'll all try to get tapped into Steve's southern climate house, and then he's got him other places. So I have no idea where he is.
There is not a question that I am afraid to ask, and I will say point blank, can we do our show live from his place?
Oh, I'd love. Let's
Wouldn't
ask
that be
him
fun?
that. Oh yes, and like he has to pay for the tickets down.
Absolutely.
You want us to pay for our own way down there? No, we're celebrities. Jerry and Ron are celebrities, and we need to get that posh treatment.
It's called talent fees. I did a broadcast from the Bahamas one time in Ocho Rios as part of
it. And it was paid?
They paid for me to go down. It was the Jamaican Tourism Board.
I need to figure out that gig.
It was the Jamaican Tourism Board, and they had different jocks from around the country literally go down and promote the JTC, which is the Jamaican Tourism Commission or whatever. And it was an all expense paid.
Whoa.
My wife and I went down there. They put us up in a 4-star resort. They paid for all of our entertainment, drinks, everything like that. It was So anyway, let's talk about the.
So ScrubbyPet, we're going to talk about the no rinse bath mittens. Steve was at I think over dinner with a surgeon or somebody, like kind of a thing, and they were talking about inventions. Well, he heard something from the surgeon about this mitt, and this is the key point. And we're going to open this thing up when we review it. And it is a like super intense mitt that can hold soap of 30 washes within it for a small dog. So you can wash your dog 30 times with this mitt. And we're now in the process at the store of trialing it and all that kind of stuff. It's a great way. What we want it for as far as Petland goes is puppies are really not supposed to be bathed and all that kind of. It's stressful, especially when they go from the breeder to our store or our store to your home. That's a stressful time. And we're trying to lessen that stress as much as possible. That's where the ScrubbyPet comes in, where you can do a rinseless, no water shampoo of your dog and have a clean dog at the end of it. That's what I've had a problem with all these things in the past. When you use them, you're like, yeah, dog's still dirty. That didn't help anything. But he was demonstrating it at a recent trade show that we were at. And so now we're trialing it. We are going to be sending it home with every puppy that goes home as a trial as well. We want to know, what did you think? Kind of a thing. So
that's pretty cool.
That's the kind of thing we do.
That's the way that you roll.
ScrubbyPet is the final segment of the show. So we have 4 segments today.
We do. And right now it is time for the amazing pet story of the week.
It's time for the amazing pet story of the week.
This one was handpicked by me for you. And this is an old legend.
Are you saying the audience you?
You can take it any way that you want it. Bamsey, this is a legendary story. So this has been handed down. There's no reason for me not to believe it, because I found it on the internet, and everything on the internet is true. Bamsey was a Saint Bernard that served aboard a Norwegian minesweeper during World War II. Despite his cuddly appearance, Bamsey was, the meaning is cuddly bear in Norwegian. He was extremely tough. Saint Bernard, pretty tough dog. Bamsey was originally brought on board by the ship's captain. When the captain tried to take Bamsey with him, leaving for another posting, the crew, who had grown fond of the dog, threatened to leave the ship if he was taken away. They loved the dog so much that they would have mutinied rather than losing him. Bamsey became legendary in Dundee and Montrose, where the ship was stationed during World War II. He rode buses alone with a specially made bus pass tied around his neck and made sure that drunken sailors made it back to their posts.
Taking care of the boys.
And allegedly put a stop to bar fights. Once he rescued a crewman who had fallen overboard by diving in to drag him to safety. He rescued another crewman cornered by a knifeman barreling into the attacker and dragging him into the water. So Bamsey, the Saint Bernard, legendary in Norway and that Scotland area for keeping sailors safe and protecting them during bar fights.
I like that. I love everything about that story.
It's just one of those things. It's an amazing pet story.
It is amazing.
And you don't think about it. Dogs are, they serve a lot of different purposes, but on a ship, he adds a little bit of comfort to a very stressful situation, and he takes care of his sailors. So anyway, that's Bamsey from World War II. Yeah,
I know a little bit about, we know even more so about how police, our canine units locally, take care of their dogs. And I'm talk about posh treatment for a dog.
Yeah.
Our canine officers, those dogs are taken care of so well because that officer has taken that dog in to their home as a pet as well as a canine unit dog. So it's extremely well trained to do what it's supposed to do, whether it's narcotics, bomb, sniffing, the drug. What's another one that they do? Just other things. All kinds of smells. And the dog, they train, I think it's weekly with these dogs. It's weekly or multi during the month. Intense, and they actually rank the dog itself on its success rate at doing what it's supposed to be, and they're in the upper 90% success rate. So these dogs really can do what they're supposed to do. Now in the military, they do that times 10. You know, there's even more that they work with dogs in the military. And so that's kind of an untold story. We know about it, but we don't know all of what dogs are how they're helping us overseas and in those military operations.
And I think we had, was his name officer, is it Brandon or Braden? Brandon.
Oh, Brandon Faulkner. Yeah.
And so he was in talking about the canine units and whatnot. And if you ever see a dog inside a police car, understand that that police car and the SUV is specially equipped with an AC on hot days. And there's actually, that was the amazing part.
Yeah, there's alarms.
There's alarms.
Remote alarms. There's all sorts of things.
If the temperature does increase in that SUV. So if you do see a police dog in a parking lot or something like that.
Yeah, it's lounging.
It's hanging out, and it's in pretty good company.
It's looking at you going, I feel bad for you.
Because dogs, that's the way that dogs roll. And so, recap once again, what's the breed of the week?
Pug. Those precious pugs. We're going to review that. Is that the right breed for your family? We're going to go into flea and tick. Mainly flea because we're coming into the most massive flea season we'll probably experience in a long time. And then ScrubbyPet, the no-rinse bath mittens, a new technology out there that we're going to check out and find out, hey, is this something that you should have in your home?
It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, Sunday mornings, right here on Iowa City's news and sports station, 800 KXIC. We'll continue the conversation with Ron. Good morning.
Born ready. Tried to make that low and I was born ready.
You realize your mic's on again.
I always realize that my mic is on.
It's the PAWSitively Petland Show on Iowa City's news and sports station. We are with Ron from Petland of Iowa City. What's your website, Ron?
petlandiowacity.com.
And that's where you can find out about all of the great features, updated almost daily, if not multiple times a day. With all of the different pets that you have, from kittens to dogs. And this week you have pugs.
Pugs are on the website right now. Yeah, check out our website if you want to see, you know, what do you guys got, you know, kind of thing. And we have post all of our pictures. That is up to date. What is available in our store right now? When a puppy goes home, that minute it is taken off the website. So it's up to date. And then you also can check us out on Facebook. Just do Petland Iowa City on Facebook and we'll pop up. That is where we, again, are posting pictures there. But I try to do more social media-y stuff. Like we just posted that I was finishing up on a TV show. And after we're done here on the radio, I'll be posting that. Posting a link to, you can actually watch this broadcast on YouTube. It's not pretty. It just is a nice video. Oh, I guess it's got two handsome gentlemen on it.
What does that mean? It's not pretty.
It's not all edited and all that kind of stuff. You're seeing the real deal. There's
That's the prettiness of radio.
There it is.
It's right here. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
how are you?
Thanks for doing that, picking me back up again. I went down on that. You're right.
You did.
And I shouldn't have.
That's the way that I roll. I bring people up.
You've made a decision.
I made a decision to not let you say that radio is not pretty. There are certain aspects of it, but you and I, we are pretty inside of people's radio.
Inside our brains.
So getting back to the pug and flea and tick season, we have a lot to cover today. So let's get into it.
Yep. And so, all right. So the pug, right now, as the making of this show, we have 3 pugs in the store. And that's important because if you have been searching for a pug, you know that it's extremely difficult to find pugs. And on the front end, why is that? Why do you think that is? Why is it difficult right now? It's possibly interesting.
Well, Dale Hibbs from City High School, my economics teacher, would say that there's probably an issue with supply and demand.
Yes. Yes, because they
There's
are definitely in demand. Nobody would doubt
they're
that.
in demand, and there's not enough of supply. So supply and demand.
So the supply is where the issue is.
Yes.
You just like said what I said just now.
Just more sophisticatedly.
Yes, you like backed it
I
up.
made up a word. Sophisticatedly.
I like making up words. Pugs are difficult to breed. And so people will go, oh, I know how to, they might have a make money quick kind of scheme or whatever, or I love pugs, so why don't I do this? But then when they get into the actual breeding a pug is more difficult than, let's say, a lab. A lab and a golden probably are on the easier side of things overall. But on the pug side, those that know what that pug is, go back to the rear end of that pug. Those are narrow hips. And so with a narrow hip, this is the same thing for an English bulldog, narrow hips. That is difficulty in birthing as a result. Well, how do you have to take a pug or an English bulldog to the veterinarian to do a C-section. And so now you have more expense, more buy-in to this whole situation here. And so that's the main issue with pugs, where there's just a lot more to it as far as birthing goes. And so now, people that might have done it once say, I'm never going to do that again. I think most people that get into breeding a dog say, I'm never going to do that again. It is much more difficult than you realize. There is a lot more to it than you realize. And when you get into it, you're like, holy cow, that wasn't worth what I'm getting out of it. Was it cute to have those little puppies? You betcha. But all the other things that go along with it are a little more. So pugs are...
And if you don't know what you're getting into, you're also harming that dog. And that's why you work with trusted...
Possibly, yeah.
That's why you work with trusted breeders. You go out and you work with these breeders all across the area.
Right. I will be the first one to say I am not an expert breeder. And nor will I ever, I don't have the passion to be a breeder because I work with them all the time, and you'll hear me work with them and I'll go, and that's why I'm not a breeder over and over again. But they say back to me, and that's why I'm not a store owner. I don't, they are more introverted kind of people, that's not a negative term. They like the animal and they like working with the animals, kind of a thing. And so that's their passion, and that's why they go that route. I'm more that people-y person, that, stereotype people person. And so I like that aspect, and I can work with you on that. And so I work 600 miles a week working with breeders, and, how are they doing things? I always love to bring ideas to my breeders. I have pictures that I'm constantly showing them. Hey, I just saw this. You'll want to try this next time. Or they all work with different veterinarians. And so I like to bring one veterinarian's idea to another breeder and their veterinarian. And so I want to think, and I know that my breeders are way above average because there's a lot more going on to that environment when I step in, because I'm working with them on a continuous basis. All right, I just tooted my own horn. Thank you very much for that. So pugs. Get back to the real fun story. Pugs, who doesn't like a pug? A pug's behavior is so unique, not only by visual, they're obviously one of the most unique looking dogs. That short nose, that short neck, that very stout chest, kind of a small to medium sized breed that's out there. It's a shedding dog. So know that you're getting into that, but it is a medium sized dog. So if you've worked with a lab is a shedding dog, but it's a big dog. So you see that shed everywhere. A pug's going to be less than that, but more than a Chihuahua. A Chihuahua sheds, but you usually don't even see it anywhere.
My brother has a pug and a Chihuahua.
Well, isn't that ironic? And so you
just said both of them, and I was like, yep, that's a duo.
Yes, because that Chihuahua's got a lot of energy, but it's so tiny that it's like not that big of a deal, kind of a thing. A pug's a little bigger, so it's a little bit more to handle. It's not a large breed dog by any means, but the energy in a pug is incredible. And so it's fun to see it. This morning when I was letting them outside and they were doing their business and everything, they were both kind of just scouting around and all that. And then one of them just started sprinting spastically. And I'm like, yep, there goes a pug. It had to poop.
Oh, okay.
So it felt the movement and it went, yeah, kind of thing. And it was running and running, sprinting and sprinting. And then all of a sudden the humpyback started. And I went, okay, I get what's going on.
Mark the time, 14 minutes into the show. That was the first time you referenced poop. That's a common theme on this show.
All right. So let's learn a little bit more about the pug per AKC. So the experts on all this stuff. So the history of the pug is a what
dog
country origin is from what country? I think you need to do a quick guess on this one.
Brazil.
No, you took too long. You had it in your brain, I bet you. The pug is of Chinese origin. You didn't even have that in your brain?
Nope.
Oh. And dates back to the pre-Christian era. That's an interesting tidbit. I've never heard a reference like that before. So that would be here. What's the pre-Christian era? What's the year? 2017. So over 2,000 years ago. They were prized possessions of the emperors of China and lived in a most luxurious atmosphere, at times even guarded by soldiers. Dutch traders brought pugs from the east to Holland and on into England. The more robust Kobe pug we know today must be credited to the English breeders. This happy little dog was enjoyed by many monarchs of Europe and to this day remains a favorite with royalty and discerning people all over the world.
How do they know it was happy?
That's a debate. You're right. But I often say, especially with treats, I know that dogs
the dog's depressed. You never really know.
Well, no, there's behaviors. But yes, okay, I am with you all the way on this one, Jerry. You never really know because we don't speak bark and they don't speak English, but it is fun to conjecture.
Okay, I wanted to bring that out. I don't like associating adjectives with things that we can't actually.
You can't actually see and everything. I always love, because there are treats in our store, and I go, hey, when you give your dog this chirpy chew, it's yak cheese, hardened yak cheese. I go, the dog smiles. It is smiling while it's licking it or eating it. Or our primal freeze-dried food. If you think you've found like the most attractive food for your dog and you're not using Primal yet, you got to try this stuff. I put it down. Even my cat like comes running when he hears that package and says, I got to have some. Okay, back on to the pug. So form and function, standing between 10 and 13 inches and weighing about 14 to 18 pounds. So this is a small package, but it's a very thick dog. This square dog is the largest of the toys, so it's even in the toy breed category. His tightly curled tail, unique head shape and facial features, short, blunt, square muzzle, and large, dark, round eyes give the pug an expression that brings a smile to human faces. So that's the form and function. A little bit then about living with one. When picking out a puppy, a new owner should look for nice, clear eyes. Ooh, that's a great point. Let's go into that one a little bit. There are breeds out there that have more bulging eyes, and the pug is one of those. What is it? The Chihuahua is another one. There's some more out there that have that bulging eye kind of thing going on. What happened?
The world's ugliest dog
is...
There was one that, that one that the tongue sticks.
That's the pug one.
Is it?
There's definitely an ugliest picture of a dog. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
I mean, this is an actual competition where they bring in.
This one was an old pug, so it was like a grandpa.
Is that the one with the tongue hanging out?
Oh, but then there's the other one that's really popular. It's the Chinese crested.
Yeah. That's the one I'm thinking of, with the crazy hair and the tongue is like hanging out, and its eyes are just. It's nothing against the dog. It's just they host this competition every year.
Yes.
For the world's quote unquote cutest dog and then ugliest dog, and I think it's won like
every year. They just put it in. Yeah. Okay, you win again.
But pugs, even with their bulging eyes, they have such a personality that's kind of what it compensates for
Yeah.
their
Well, I
kind
like
of.
to think I'm so ugly, I'm cute too. So I mean, we're all in.
Why
in
would you
this,
say that? I've already said that you're a beautiful person, and I have a man crush on you.
and I know why, because I'm so ugly, I'm cute. That's just like, oh, you're so precious.
Don't do that to yourself, Ron. Continue on with the pug.
Those eyes are bulgy, so they actually do get injured from time to time. So in just horseplay, from dog to dog, or when you're working with them, or they might bump into something. Pugs tend to bump into things, it can harm the eye a little bit. So that's why they're saying, hey, just make sure you got some clear eyes. You don't have any injuries going on right away. It is something, though, that is very treatable, because we get pugs in, and we do find that there's some injuries on those eyes already, because Dr. Ebert looks at them through her little eye thing that microscopically looks at the eye and all that kind of stuff. And she goes, oh, yep, there's a little abrasion here. And it's usually, okay, let's just treat with an ointment, kind of a thing. And it's not anything big. If you or I would not be able to look at that and say anything's going on. So clear eyes is important, but realize that's also just the nature of the dog. Wide open nostrils. Okay, so those blunt nosed dogs, the nose, there's called nares associated with the nose, and that's what closes down. The way you can check this out, and the way here, this is what a veterinarian, Dr. Ebert, told me to do. How you can check this is the dog breathing through its mouth primarily? So when you look at the dog, and this is like sometimes dogs breathe through their mouth. This is always, so the mouth is open and it can't breathe when the mouth is shut because the nares are so tight. On this breed, that's something that you want to check out. The only thing is it's easy to fix. It's a very quick, you don't even have to put them under. You might have local anesthesia at most, and they just widen them out a little bit so that you can breathe. I think it's somewhat associated with some of us that have sleep apnea. This is even simpler than that, though. So wide open nostrils and a robust personality. I have never met a pug without a robust personality.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about the pug. Is that the right breed for you? Realize it's a smaller, you're in the under 20-pound size, but it's a stout breed. It is a shedding breed, and you will see some of the shed around your house. The Furminator would be how you can minimize that appearance of shed around the house.
The
Furminator. And doing that just once a week. And especially in the summer months, I just go outside. We have a cat that sheds. I just go outside, comb them down. And if you're doing it on a weekly basis, this is about a 5-minute job. And it keeps that shed to a minimum so that you're not seeing it all over the place. So fun dog for sure. And we have at the recording on Thursday of this week, we have 3 of them in. Hopefully by Sunday, you'll get to still see those pugs and enjoy them, and then maybe even taking one home with you.
That is the pug, and the one that you have in the studio right now is sleeping.
Yeah, they're both out.
I think are there 2 in there? Yeah, did you say 2. That? I thought I just saw 1.
Yeah. See, anyway. They love to pile. I mean, they're just all.
Yeah, they're obviously on top of each other.
And our sales staff here at the studio hasn't come in yet, and maybe
they're just getting out of their meeting right now. So I'm presuming that they're going to be in here.
You'll hear some interruption all of a sudden in our show. They don't respect us.
They do respect us. They respect us because we're beautiful, we're intelligent, and gosh darn it, people like me.
I know where you're coming from on that. That's a good Saturday Night Live skit.
Stuart Smalley. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like it.
Yes.
People like me.
That is the pug. So now From China. Over 2,000 years ago. That is just incredible to have a breed. Then that's where we know, America definitely has brought the dog into the home again. 2,000 years ago, the Chinese were doing it and treating them like royalty. I mean, way beyond what here we put a dog and a cat on a pedestal today.
They did.
We can't hold a candle to what they were doing back then, guarding them with soldiers. Holy moly!
And so now we get into what we were just discussing, and you brought up the amount of rain that we have had, the amount of heat that we have had, which is the 2 ingredients for the worst or potentially worst.
Yeah, we've got a pretty dang good season mounting in front of us right now for fleas. So this is, I'll go through real quick or why that is, and then we'll go, okay, well, what do I do? Okay, I'm convinced I got to do something. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. So we'll hit that at the end. So the article that I'm reading is from revivalanimals.com, I think it is, and this is a veterinarian that has a website that helps you learn things and all that kind of stuff. And the title of his article is "Why Fleas Surge in the Fall." And actually, Dr. B, who I follow quite a bit, Don Bramlag, is the author of the article, but he references another veterinarian in here, Dr. Michael Dryden, professor of veterinarian parasitology in the Department of Diagnostic Medicine and Pathology at the Kansas State University. So this guy wrote this article with some references in there, and he's talking about why fleas surge in the fall. And basically he's going through, in the flea cycle of things, they have, 4 stages that they go through and all that kind of stuff. And right now, because of the higher temperatures above the 70 degrees side of things, they've gone dormant. And so they're not really active right now. So right now you're like going, you know what? I think that's all a hoax. I don't think fleas really exist. I don't think you're probably that far. But fleas are abundant right now, and they are just waiting for the temperature to go down. So as the temperatures come down in the evening and then even mellow out during the day, so come down to a 70-degree high, which I think we're actually in right now.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
That's when you're going to see a surge. And then when the temperature goes back up again, they're going to go back into dormancy again, the ones that are still going through cycles and stuff. So as we go further and further into the late summer and into the fall, fleas become more and more intense. Fleas love dogs and they love cats. Those are their hosts. That's how they feed and procreate and all that kind of stuff. That's one of their sources. And then when they're on your dog, the egg phase that occurs, the eggs they're sticky, and so they stick to the dog and all that. But then they get dry and they drop off. Why is it important to always be treating your dog? Because when those eggs drop off, where do they drop off in?
In the carpet.
In the carpet, in your house, outside too, for sure, when they're out there. But that's where they're picking the fleas up and all that kind of stuff. So this cycle is a pretty complex little thing on how it works. And that's why if you haven't had an issue, you're lucky. If you have had, you're like, I will never miss another treatment in my life. Because they're so tenacious. And also think through, as the fleas, lay their eggs and the eggs are in your carpet and all that kind of stuff, and you think you're in the clear and all that kind of stuff, as we go into the winter months, hey, what's the degree temperature in your house in February?
61.
That's at night or something.
I don't
play with me on this.
Sorry,
the normal
72.
Yeah, 68 to 72. What did I say earlier in the program? Where do the fleas prosper? 70 degrees, right in that range there. And so your house is always ideal conditions for fleas. So if your dog went out, got a couple of fleas, got a bunch of eggs, kind of a thing, and then it sprinkled it like salt, the eggs into your carpeting all summer long. And then in February, you're like going, what the heck is going on? I've got fleas. How can I have fleas in the middle of winter? Well, your house is the environment that they're prospering in. So that's why if you want to stay away from a flea infestation, you need to be treating year around. So those that have been infested, it, and you have to now, because the eggs are still in your carpeting. I don't care how convinced you are that you've conquered this, the eggs are still in there. So you have to continuously treat for the fleas, not only on your dog, but also have a minor influence, if it's under control, in the house itself, to make sure you're monitoring it and keeping it under control. So let's see, reviewing the article here, and just the eggs, we talked about that. We talked about yards. We talked about in the house and the pupae. In the fall, pets begin getting the winter coats, making them ideal homes for the fleas. So as your dog's coat even thickens in the winter, that makes even a better environment for these fleas.
Does Dr. B have a podcast?
No, he just...
You actually had to read that article?
Yeah, I talk with Dr. B, but he doesn't have a podcast.
You
yet.
listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, but he
because
doesn't
you
have,
drive so
I
much.
would if he had a podcast. I should talk with him next time. Hey, when's the podcast coming out?
Have him send it over to me, and I'll read the article and record it for you. And
Jerry,
then,
we're brainstorming here. We need to have Dr. B on the air. We need to help him understand radio.
You know the number 354-0800.
All right, next time I talk with him, which will be fairly quick, I'll ask if he will go on the air, because he gives seminars almost every week around the United States. So, all right. So we talked now about, are you convinced yet that fleas can be an issue in the house? So if you're driving to church in the car right now, your husband is always like, we're not going to spend money on those flea protectants. No, we've never had that problem. Well, now he's probably got that seated out going, okay, I kind of get it. Is
that the way all husbands talk, kind of crankety? And
yeah, I know I do. On the way to church,
I can hear you going,
yeah.
Oh, come on, Wendy.
Kids, settle down back there.
I made you into a pirate. Sit down, or else I turn this van around. It's a little stereotypical there, but
it's radio. That's what we got to do on radio. All right, so how do we treat them? I have 3 simple ways to, like, when customers come into the store, and I need to assess where are you at, and then on a simple basis, because we can always go deeper, how can I help you? The 3 stages that I need to know about where you're at are, do you have no fleas right now, and so you're in a good shape and you just are into prevention? That's stage 1. Stage 2 is, I have some fleas, whether I'm treating or not. I have some fleas right now. What do I do? And then the 3rd stage, I not only see some fleas on my dog, but I know I have fleas in the house. So those are the 3 stages. Where are you? So the first stage, I don't see any fleas anywhere. You just need to treat. And there are good products and bad products out there. Advantix and Frontline are those 2 top products that you want to use. They're topicals once a month, and you need to stay up on them. Throughout the year, like what we have talked about, those usually keep you under control. But even when you have those, that keeps you like 98% of the time under control. But things influence those treatments. Like if you wash your dog a lot, the dog's in the water a lot, all that kind of thing can influence how effective those treatments are. So you might go to stage 2. You know what? I'm treating or not, but I see some fleas. What do I do now? Well, first step is treat your dog. So get back onto those Frontline Advantix type products. There are generics out here, so this is not an expensive thing. Just do it. So make sure that's your front line of defense. Then treat with CapGuard. CapGuard is a pill that you put it. It's safe for dogs and cats. Oh, by the way, a vignette. Don't use your dog product on the cat. In the treatment, Advantix and Frontline and all the others, the cat does not get treated the same amount because the cat can't tolerate that. So just make sure you use dog products for dogs, cat products for cats.
I think that was more of a footnote than a vignette.
Okay, footnote. Yeah, thank you.
An asterisk of sorts.
CapGuard is an amazing product that you would use in addition to the previous product that we just talked about. CapGuard will kill every adult flea. So not all those eggs and larvae and all that kind of stuff, just the walking fleas on your dog. And it actually kills them within 30 minutes. And it's amazing. I go take your dog outside, give them the pill, and within 30 minutes, you're going to start seeing. You got to get your spectacles on. You will start seeing them drop off your dog, and you're like, amazing. That is one of those amazing things in life to witness. Hopefully you don't have to. So CapGuard, that's stage 2, treatment and CapGuard. Stage 3, I see fleas not only on my dog or cat, but I see them in my home as well. So now you got to do Frontline or Advantix or one of the generics. You got to do CapGuard to get things back under control. And then you now have to start to treat the home. There are safe products. If you don't like the balms and the sprays and all that, there are other products that are actually safe for kids after you've applied it appropriately and all that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of products that we have in the store. We probably have 20 different things to choose from to meet the needs that you have on that side of things as far as treating your home. You know what the best way, if you have them in the home, is vacuum. Vacuum multiple times a day. The statistic that another veterinarian had told me was when you vacuum, you pick up 50% of the adult walking fleas because they get excited when they feel the vibration of the vacuum cleaner. That's when, like, if you're in the woods, they can feel the pounding of your foot walking across the ground, and they get active and they jump. They don't even know you're there yet. They just jump, and that's how they get onto you or the dog. Well, in the house, when you use the vacuum, they're like, oh my gosh, something big is coming, and then they get sucked into the vacuum. So they come up to the top of the carpet. You suck them up. You'll get 50% of the fleas when you do that. So if you keep doing that, you're getting rid of those fleas in a very effective, safe way. But just keep the vacuum out in the garage or something, because you've got fleas in that bag now. Some people will just keep on throwing away, but I'll go, well, they're also in the tube, kind of a thing. So put your vacuum in a safe place where you're like, I don't care if there's fleas out there, like out on the deck or the patio or whatever, so that the fleas stay out there.
And if you vacuum 3 times, you're going to approximately get 87.5% of the fleas.
But realize they're hatching. So those eggs that are further down are now hatching as well.
So you're going to get like 72,
yeah,
73%.
Yeah, and it's a logarithmic equation there. You'll never, quite get rid of them. So I
was trying to impress you with my mathematical skills.
And then I had to show up.
You did, and you were like, yeah, but that's not taking into account that they're actually hatching at the same time, so it's quantifiable.
If you always do 50% every single time, you'll never get all of them. You'll get most of them, though.
You will. Like 50%.
For all intents and purposes, get the math aside, you'll get all of them eventually. So, all right. So that is flea and tick. How much time do we have left?
About 5 minutes.
Excellent.
I reserved 5 minutes for the sham. No, not sham. Wow. What is it called? Sorry.
ScrubbyPet.
ScrubbyPet.
Do you have a scissors in the studio? I already have a way to.
The one time.
Wait, hold on. No, never mind. No, Steve. Here, the inventor. Maybe he didn't. He needs a resealable thing, although these are not really wet. I need a way to open this package. Can you help me out there?
Yes, give it to me.
So ScrubbyPet is a product that we said at the beginning was invented after. This is one of those things we all dream about, guys and ladies, is when you're having dinner with that person, and as that person's talking about, how they work or what they do at home or whatever, and all of a sudden you go, somebody needs to invent something for that. Well, in this case, Steve was out with a doctor, and the doctor was talking about in an operation, when they're operating on people, they have absorbency pads.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are blotting, whatever they're doing with this to soak up the excess fluids and all that kind of a thing. And this doctor was saying is the technology, you would think an absorbent is an absorbent. What can you possibly do with it? Well, they've come out with this, highly absorbent product or whatever. And he goes, I'm in the pet industry. What can I use that thing for? And he goes, if I can get soap to intensively absorb into it, dry it, and then use it on a dog. We know about.
It smells
fresh.
It smells fresh.
Yeah.
It's very soft.
It's very soft.
I like it.
So he used that very absorbent cloth. He got all this soap absorbed into it. It is now dry when you take it out of the package. And how he has used it and invented it to do, he gets it wet in a section, and then gets the dog. He then starts rubbing it on the dog, and he'll get a little lather going, and you might need a little bit more water. So just keep on adding a little water to the mitt and then rubbing it into the dog. The soaps that he is using is also one of those technology things, in that it encapsulates the dirt and all that kind of a thing, so that it will fall off easily. So it doesn't keep on adhering to the dog kind of a thing, or the cat. So you rub the dog, you get this thing a little bit wet in a corner or whatever, and then you rub your cat or dog, get it all nice and lathery and all that kind of stuff. You now don't throw away the mitt. He goes, this mitt for a small dog will go for 30 different washings. And I go, you know what? If it's even half that, because they always seem to, 30 different washings out of one mitt. If it even goes 15, I'm like going, okay, I'm in on that one. And then buff it dry with a dry towel. So, just kind of fluff up the dog, fluff up the cat with a dry towel. And now you're releasing all of the wetness that's in there. You're obviously absorbing that up, but then drying it out and then getting the encapsulated dirt and stink and all that kind of stuff off your dog and cat. So it's a nice way to wash your dog or cat without dunking them in the water, going through that whole thing, and then decreasing the amount of stress that you have in that environment. So we brought them into our store because when you take those puppies and kittens home, then it's a very stressful time. And then when you when you get home, you're like, I want to wash my dog. Well, now that's even more stress. And so what does stress do to us? Well, when we get stressful, we get worried, our immunities go down, we catch colds and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we want to prevent with a dog or a cat or any other animal. This would be great for rabbits and guinea pigs and ferrets. Ooh, I just found another great. We got to have these over in the ferret section.
My brother had 2 ferrets also.
Right.
Yeah.
These are going to be awesome for that because the word on the street, you're not supposed to put a ferret underwater, or not underwater, but in the sink kind of a thing.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I do. I when I hear these things,
you're not supposed to drown your pets.
You're not supposed to. No, that's no.
That's not good.
But with a ferret, you can put them underwater. Well, what do they do in the wild when it's raining? Do they melt? No, they get wet and then they dry off. And so you can do these things, but you're not supposed to do them frequently, I think is the point. So you can use this product in that way with your dog, cat, ferret, small animal, to give them that bath and all that kind of a thing so that they don't get all stressed out. So I think these are great. And you know what? This is one of those products that I know here just in this show, we were coming up with some different uses on different pets in this case. But I'm even thinking this is going to be a good product to do spot cleaning in the kennel or on their bed or all these things. And so I'm really excited about this product and how people figure out how to use them. And I'm really interested. Every puppy and kitten that goes home is going to get these guys. And I'm really interested to hear the feedback. How did you use it? What did you like? What did you dislike? And all that kind of stuff. And Steve will be all about, give me feedback because I want to hear it. He thinks this is just going to be, like sliced bread. Oh my goodness. Everybody's going to have it in their home. I don't even care if I have a pet. I want that thing, kind of thing. So that is ScrubbyPet, and it's in our store right now. I talked last week about those new athletic-y kind of products that we have in, everything from life jackets to backpacks for your dog to a bungee cord harness that you can run without having to hold on to a leash, so they're on your hip, so to speak, or the lead is attached from your hip. I have all these new products in our store right now. As you walk in the front door, check out that front display. It'll hit you right in the face, and see what every product does. Oh, we've got that cooling.
It doesn't actually hit you in the face. That's
a little bit.
That's opening you up to a huge liability if you start.
Yeah, that's why I'll have to tone it down a little bit.
If you start accosting every customer that comes in the door.
It's the display that hits you. It's a figure of speech, Jerry.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm very literal today. And I want you to visit petlandiowacity.com. You can find out about all of their available pets, from birds to fish, reptiles, all of the good services that they provide, like $5 nail trim.
You can't beat a $5 nail.
You can't. I have tried. I went out last week after.
Do you mean literally you tried to beat it?
No.
That's not, that's a liability.
I tried to find a better deal. Like I was walking around stores in Target, just different stores going, is this a good deal? Can this beat a $5 nail trim? And I wasn't able to find one anywhere. Anywhere. And I was looking hard. I went to like a dozen different stores. I was asking managers at other stores going,
please,
do you have a deal that can beat a $5 nail trim? And they were like, I can't compete with Ron in that avenue.
Petland Iowa City's got it.
I can't do it. You own it.
And then we have also the buy 10, get 1 free, get that 11th bag free on all of our dog food and cat food. We track it for you so that you don't have to. Our customers love that. We have tens of thousands of customers that we track for them and it's a party when they get that free bag. I think balloons fall down from the sky and confetti, goes up.
We just have a couple minutes left, but after the trade show, you brought up something, and I'm going to throw you a little bit on the spot. Has anything advanced with? You were mentioning the veterans dog that you wanted to try to figure that out.
Yes.
Did that go anywhere, or
Yes,
how's that proceeding?
Right now, we're in the design phase of the cookie, which is actually a easy section, and then getting them made. And so what we're doing is you did put me on the spot because I don't have it up. The name of the organization.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But
the organization trains dogs for veterans that suffer from PTSD. And when I met with them, and then they have videos and stuff and I'll post those on our website and on our Facebook page when I got it already. This is one of those things where if you're not in that situation, you don't get it. And there's so many of these things when you just go, oh, wow, we got to do something. And this was that situation. So this is a group out of Missouri that trains these dogs, professionally trains them to meet the needs of a veteran with PTSD. And they even focus it down to that individual. What do you struggle with? I struggle with being around people in the public spaces. Well, what do you mean by that? When I'm in a grocery store and there's people around me, I start sweating, I start getting very nervous, and I have to leave at that point. Okay, so how can we help you? How can a dog help you with that? And so they've done these brainstorming things. And so in that case, they train the dog to get between the veteran and the other people. Even as the situation is changing, the dog will adjust to put distance between that veteran and those people. And the dog ends up being a very familiar, friendly, has the confidence, brings the confidence out kind of a thing. So there's multiple aspects in that situation. These are the kind of things that they talked about. And I went, whoa, I didn't understand it. And I don't even understand how that happens. And I am lucky to be an American and proud to support veterans and our military and all that. So
you came back from that trade show and there was a different spark in you about witnessing that event, plus,
yes,
working with all of the...
Oh, I'm telling you, they did a demonstration that goosebumps are still going up. I cried. I couldn't believe what I did not know they suffered in these ways. And I cried.
And I want to bring that up because I'm not just, posturing or pandering or anything like that. You do a lot of great work. We've had the canine units in before. You worked with our local animal shelter. I mean, you really are invested in our community. Safari Stands Children Charities, St. Jude's Children Research Hospital.
Crisis Center here locally. We just brought over many pounds of dog food. Crisis Center goes and feeds people that have an issue with just getting their own nutrition kind of a thing. We provide dog food to them so that if they provide the food to that person and they have a pet in that house, they're going to feed that pet with that food that you just provided. So now we provide dog food and cat food to them so that they'll bring a bag of food for that pet as well.
And we just had the crisis center in last week, and we never know when those little emergencies are going to pop up. They happen to everybody. They happen to everybody. And if you think that it's not going to happen to you, you are, I don't know,
prepared.
I don't know what's wrong with you. But those little emergencies, and unfortunately, one thing we were talking about was, unfortunately, pets are some of the first things that get cut. And then they don't get fed, and then it just kind of spirals from that. So anyway, I wanted to point out that you're working on that initiative, and you really do give back to the community. So
yeah, my goal is 1,000 a month in cookie sales, where 100% of that. So I'm going to buy the cookies, and I'm not even going to pass that expense along. So 100% of what you buy that cookie for, it'll be a special cookie with their logo and all that kind of stuff on it. 100% of that goes to this program to train dogs. $7,500 is what it takes to train one dog for one veterinarian. When the Des Moines officers,
one veteran.
Did I say it wrong?
You said veterinarian.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did that 2 weeks ago.
I think you did it also.
You're
learning, Ron.
Yeah, I'm doing better. Well, you're catching me on the love it. The Des Moines officers, the two fallen officers, it was I think fall that happened with. I felt so bad for what that was about and for the families. In 1 month, we were able to raise over $1,000 for those families, and so that was I just thought it was so easy and help us and the public and everything help these families that are in need, and so this is just yet another one.
60 seconds, wrap it up.
We are Petland of Iowa City, located at the Marketplace Mall. We are across from Lucky's Market. Come in, and if you're like just saying, I don't know, do we get a pet? I don't know. Come on in. We're all about playing and letting you play with them, educating. We'll get the books out. We'll say, is this the right pet for you? And then we're going to teach you how to meet those pets' needs. That's something that is voided when you go to the big box store. We have products 40-year-old products that I bet you have no idea what they are. When you come in, we're going to tell you about them and why that's going to be so important for potty training or whatever it is, training in general. And so come on in, let us help you, or just have fun. Have a play day. So when church is out, come on over to Petland. We're open at noon and closed at 6 p.m. today on Sunday. All other days we're open at 10 a.m. and then closing at 9 p.m. So big swath of the day. But today, Sunday, it's noon until 6.
And don't forget, visit petlandiowacity.com. Thank you, Ron. We'll talk with you next week.
See ya.
Here's the PAWSitively Petland Show, Sunday morning.